Hey folks, and welcome to this video in the Profile Builder series, where we will look at how you can add your own drawing toolbars to your custom diagram types, as well as icons and graphics. Here in our Networks profile, we have a new term stereotype applicable to object model diagrams, the network diagram. In our user project, we can add one of those to our sample network using the custom Add New menu we built in the last video. So there is our new diagram, but the drawing toolbar contains the base set of UML elements. This is still an object model diagram drawing toolbar. Let's change that. Let's switch back to our Builder project. So how do we specify a new drawing toolbar? Well, you may have guessed by now it's another comma-separated list property. Let's edit it using one of the Profile Builder helpers. Now we can use any of them, but let's use the stereotype editor. One of the tabs in that editor is for the drawing toolbar. Let's expand networks and we'll select both server and printer, and we'll drag both of those over to the right. If we open the features view for the stereotype and we look at its locally overridden properties, there you can see is the property that controls that drawing toolbar. Now if I click save, then in the background you can actually see the network diagram from the other project update immediately with that new drawing toolbar. Now we can change the order by dragging and dropping inside the panel. Now that of course changes the order of the comma-separated list. The property change takes place immediately, and if I click save, then in the background there the diagram drawing toolbar updates as well. If I do switch to the user project, then it's easier to see that the icons on that drawing toolbar for the server and the printer are both the base UML class icon on which they're based. Let's change one of those. Let's switch back to our Builder project and we'll open the stereotype editor again, but this time on the server stereotype. And this time we'll select the icons tab. Here we can select new icons for this new term. For the icon in the model browser, for the group icon in the model browser, and also the drawing toolbar. Now note that that one is optional. If you don't specify a drawing toolbar icon, then Rhapsody will use the model browser icon instead. Lastly, you can also specify a graphic rather than an icon. Now that's an image that you might use on diagrams instead of the basic box. Let's start by specifying an icon for the browser. Now here you can use icons or bitmaps, but they have to be 16 by 16. In the Profile Builder profile folder are all of the icons the Profile Builder uses, but also a sample server icon that we can use. Let's select that one. And there we have a small preview of what that icon looks like. Now we could do the same for the group icon, but let's skip that one for now. Instead, if I open the features view for the stereotype and take a look at its locally overridden properties, there we can see the browser icon property has been set to use that icon file, and it's looking in a relative path to the profile in an icons folder. If I open the profile in Windows Explorer, we can see there that the Profile Builder has not only set the property, it's also created that icons folder and copied the icon into it. Let's now switch to our user project, where the drawing toolbar already has the new icon. If I expand the servers category in the model browser, then the server there also uses that same icon. Now let's modify the profile so that servers use a graphic when they're placed onto diagrams. Back in the Builder project, let's run that stereotype editor on the server stereotype and select the icons tab. This time let's browse for a diagram graphic, and we're looking for a bitmap. Again, in the Profile Builder we have a sample graphic we can use. This time it's in the images folder. If we look at the overridden properties again, we can once more see the relevant property that the Profile Builder has set, and of course it's done the copying of the files as well, just as it did for icons. Now, by default, Rhapsody doesn't show graphics on diagrams unless you manually open the display options for an element and then enable it. But we can do that in our profile. Let's look at the properties for our network diagram. And we'll use the profile building perspective and then the diagrams tab. Now here, we'll select Enable Image View so that any elements placed onto a diagram of this type automatically actually show their image if they have one. In the image view layout, we can choose how those images look. Let's select Structured so we keep the box, but we also show its image. We can now switch to our user project, and if we drag our Alfred server onto the network diagram, it now shows up as a graphic. Alright, that's it for this video. In the next one, we'll take a look at how to create guide me's so you can provide your users with integrated checklists that help them build their models.